One day in 1817, in a sleepy town in England, a woman wandered into town. This first sounds like a normal story, but there's a twist. She claims to be a lost princess. It's a real-life Disney story.
Oh.
From hell.
Oh.
No.
We're going dark today.
I'm joking.
Hey, Wanderers. Welcome back to another Foolish Wanderers podcast, the podcast about anything and everything. Today, we're going to be talking about the strange tale of Princess Caraboo? Caraboo?
The heir of Caraboo coffee.
Nice.
Not really. Just joking. Should I start? So awkward.
Yes.
Ugh. Okay. So on the Thursday before Easter, or the evening of Maundy Thursday.
Maundy Thursday?
Yeah, it's like the Thursday before Easter. It's Maundy Thursday.
Okay.
Out of all the people, I thought you would know that, and you'd be like, "Yes, Kendra." I'm impressed that you know that.
I don't think I've ever heard of that word, unless I just
write it down.
I will. Be a note. Look this up.
Yeah, look it up later. Okay, so Katrina doesn't know this obscure. Okay, whatever. The Thursday before Easter in 1817, a young woman wearing colorful Eastern dress was seen wandering through the sleepy village of Almondsbury.
That's pretty. I like that name.
It is 8 miles north of Bristol, so England.
Yeah.
Yes. She was wearing a black stuff gown with a muslin frill at the neck, a red and black shawl around her shoulders, and a black cotton shawl on her head, carrying no more than soap and a few coins, one being a bad sixpence.
What's a bad sixpence?
So it's a counterfeit sixpence. So sixpence is like the dead money, you know?
Okay.
Like they don't use it anymore because they use pounds and whatever, but like sixpence was like old currency. Mm-hmm. So the mysterious woman began knocking on doors, calling herself Princess Caraboo, and when villagers answered, she spoke a language no one could understand. She eventually knocked at the door of a cottage that was the home of the village cobbler, and uttered strange words to the owners. She talked in a language that no one could understand, but by her signs, the cobbler realized that she was asking for food and shelter.
Oh,
I mean, I think it's pretty doing those signs are pretty obvious.
It should be, yeah.
You're just food, mouthing that you're eating like a burger, yeah. And then sleep, you just kind of do like the, hands pressed to your side, the side of your face, and you go and maybe snore. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's pretty universal.
Yeah, it's pretty universal, so I don't know why it took so long and so many knocks for these people to figure it out.
Maybe she didn't do the hand gestures to everybody. She just kind of lost hope and was like, I need help. Give me food.
Okay, so she was given some bread and milk, and she also mimed that she wanted to sleep. So baffled by the woman, the village cobbler took her to Mr. Hill's house. So, as the overseer of the poor, Mr. Hill hauled vagrants before the court.
Oh.
So, not the best job.
No.
So, Mr. Hill is the overseer of the poor. Okay. That'd be such an insane little desk plaque to have.
Overseer of the poor.
Overseer of the poor.
It just has a little pull-out tab, overseer of the poor, and it keeps going. I take him to the court. It just keeps pulling out this long strip of metal. It has all the titles.
Okay, so Mr. Hill again, overseer of the poor, was supposed to haul vagrants before the court. But was the woman a beggar? So Mr. Hill carted her off to the town clerk, Mr. Whirl, who happened to have a Greek butler. Yet not even the butler recognized the stranger's language.
Oh.
So they were like, What's this weird woman speaking? I know. Let's ask the Greek butler. Because Greek is such a random, strange language because it's not like it's, one of like the founding for what is it, democracy? Like that's like the OG democracy, like OG classics, like classic art.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because that's like everything, like after the weird in like art history, like after the weird like cave drawings and like women with like big titties with like weird clay figures that they find in like Europe, they go into like ancient Greece.
Yeah, they do.
And you're like, here's this marble statue. So it's
gorgeous.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Teeny little weenies. But anyway,
realistic.
Don't get your hopes up, ladies and men's. But oh my gosh. So yeah, I just thought that was funny, like reading this, that they're like, let's have our weirdo Greek ask her if it's
no.
That was funny to me. So yeah, so even the Greek butler doesn't know what she's saying.
Not like there's like thousands of other languages that she could be speaking, but we gave it a shot.
It's like, we randomly have this one guy, Greek butler.
He knows one other language.
Yep.
Give it a shot.
Here we go. So it would look so it would look bad for the town clerk, so Mr. Worrell, to be harboring a seemingly foreign homeless woman with a counterfeit coin. Like, it looks bad on his image, I guess, at that time.
Okay, at this time, looks bad. I guess, yeah. Okay.
So him and his wife, Mrs. Worrell, they arranged for Caraboo to be given a room at the local inn, The Bowl. And The Bowl still exists.
Does it really? That's impressive.
Yeah. There's a lot of, like, if you think about it, it'd be, like, doing, like, history, like, in England and Europe, you'll be like, okay, this weird random inn from, like, the 1500s. Look it up today. It still exists. Like, that's just how...
It's crazy.
It goes. It's nuts. Yeah. Meanwhile, over here, it's like Sears are going out of business left to right.
You tear it down right away.
Or tear it down. Yep. Kmart, gone.
Yep. I kind of loved... It's interesting that they keep harboring on the fact that there's one singular counterfeit coin. Like it's one bad sixpence.
I guess it was weird to them, counterfeit money at this little village. It's odd.
I suppose, yeah.
So she might not, they don't even know she's married. We don't know. It's a mystery. So the Caraboo, Lady Caraboo, is at the local inn, The Bowl. So at that time, botanical prints were all the rage and popular. Like as decorative items, just like today in art hipsters' apartments.
They're pretty.
On the wall of the inn's parlor was a picture of a pineapple.
Is this the time like where pineapples were super rare and everyone was like sharing pineapples? Okay.
Well, they're like this is like sort of 1817. This is sort of like the like the time period where pineapples are like seen as a very rich luxury. So having a picture of a pineapple on the wall is kind of like having a picture of like a Rolls Royce on your wall. Sure. Like that's not very weird to some people, right? It's not weird to me to have a picture of a car on your wall.
Yeah. Well, just interesting that. What episode was that we talked about the history of the pineapple?
I don't remember what number, but it's called The History of the Pineapple.
It's pretty interesting. You should go look it
up. It's juicy. It's a banger.
It's juicy. The juicy history.
The juicy history of the pineapple. Yeah, so there's a picture of a pineapple on the wall of this inn. And Caraboo points to the picture and says the word nanas, which is Indonesian for pineapple. Okay. So the effect, because she said a word pointing, she seems to recognize this image, so that the effect was electrifying, and the witnesses were convinced that the exotic fruit was from the mysterious stranger's homeland and assumed her to be from Asia.
Okay.
So the young woman had some curious habits, so including an interest in Chinese imagery, sleeping on the floor, and going onto the roof of the Worrell's home to pray. The woman apparently called herself Caraboo and only drank tea and ate vegetables. Mr. Worrell, however, was still unsure and declared that the lady was a beggar who should be taken to Bristol and tried for vagrancy.
That's insane to me that they used to put people in jail just for being poor, or put into workhouses and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably still do in some parts of the world.
I know, yeah, it happens. It's crazy to me, like, you don't try to help them, you're just like, jail. Poor jail.
Yep. Okay, so the woman was taken to Bristol to be examined by the mayor and then on to St. Peter's Hospital, which cared for vagrants. However, she caused so many problems there that she was put back to the Worrell's care.
Oh my.
Okay, so by now word had spread of the attractive foreign stranger, and other curious members of society came to visit the woman now known as Caraboo. The stranger was being treated like a visiting head of state. So she was bringing people were coming to visit her and try to talk to her, and she was being invited to places.
So she boomed, like she went from vagrant to high society real quick.
Oh yeah, like the glow up.
The glow up.
The glow up of the Caraboo, yeah. So the princess wrote in a strange script, which the villagers decided to send off to Oxford for analysis. Ooh, yeah. So I don't know how to describe her strange, her writing, but it just looks like scribbles and kind of like the Etnies logo. Do you remember Etnies?
No, I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah, so it just kind of looks like weird scribbling, kind of like a lot of organic twists and turns, circles and stuff like that.
Like the shoes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They were super popular maybe when we were in elementary school.
Oh, okay. I don't remember these, but okay.
I remember I had a pair and I felt like a cool cat.
You're high class.
I was high class. Yeah. No, I was cool. High class and cool are not the same thing.
For us, I think it was Tamagotchis.
Oh my god. We were stuck in the 90s.
Yeah. I remember
your school was stuck in the 90s.
Oh yeah. Well, there was kids, because I didn't have one for the longest time because they were sold out everywhere. But kids would take them to school and they'd have people babysit them. They'd give them to friends to babysit them.
So they wouldn't die?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Teachers would get so mad, obviously, because kids are taking care of these imaginary pets. And there's beeping in class, because every time you take care of it, it beeps. Yeah. Put them away. Pause it.
Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun to have a Tamagotchi babysitting business and then charge money.
I think people did. I don't know if they charged money, but I'm pretty sure people had 2 or 3 at a time, at recess.
Dude, I'd straight up be Cheetos. If you got, Cheetos is the currency. Tamagotchi sitting is the game, and I'm number 1 at this game.
Mm-hmm. You just have all of them in little high chairs.
No, I'd walk them, but the leash would just be a longer keychain, and then all this dangling.
Oh my goodness! Come along, children, let's go. Oh my gosh. Put him down the slide. We put him in the swing. Woo! The best babysitter.
I'd kill those. I'd kill those Tamagotchis in 5 minutes.
Oh no. Okay.
Okay, so after around 10 days, daily efforts were made to discover her language and country, but without effect. So at last, a Portuguese man of the name of Manuel Inesso, who happened to be in Bristol, had an interview with her, and he professed that he was able to interpret what she said. The tale he revealed was that she was the daughter of a person of high rank, of Chinese origin, by Mandan or Malay woman, who was killed in war between the Bugus, or cannibals, and the Mandans, Malays. So whilst walking in her garden at Javasu, Javasu would be her country.
Okay.
So while walking in her garden at Javasu, attended by 3 salmon or women, she was seized by pirates and commanded by a man named Chiming, bound hand and foot, her mouth covered, and carried off. So she herself in her struggles wounded 2 of the Chiming's men with her crees. One of these died, and the other recovered by assistance of a surgeon. So after 11 days, she was sold to the captain of a brig called the Tapaboo, and 1 month later, she arrived at a port, presumably Batavia. And she remained there for 2 days and then started for England for some reason, which was reached in 11 weeks. So, in consequence of ill usage by the crew, she made her escape to shore somehow. And she had a dress of silk embroidered and interwoven with gold, but she had been induced to exchange this with a woman in a cottage whose doors were painted green, but the situation of which she could not describe. So the garments she wore now were those she had received from the cottager.
So, can I back up for just a second?
Yeah, because that story was confusing as hell.
A little bit. So, sorry. One of my questions is, so, what does it mean if she wounded two of the Chiming's men with her crease? Is that like a fighting style? Or is that...
I don't know.
Okay.
I got this from some weird old inscription thing.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up. So crease or keris in the Indonesian languages is an Indonesian asymmetrical dagger with distinctive blade patterning achieved through alternating laminations of iron and nickelous iron. So it's just like a very fancy dagger, it sounds like. Oh, it looks like... So it looks like one of those daggers from like a witch or something would use. Like it's very wavy, just like it
Oh my god,
wiggles, like the blade of it wiggles. That's what it looks like to me.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Carry on.
So after wandering over the country for 6 weeks, she had arrived at Almondsbury for some reason.
This is the randomest town. Like she didn't go to Bristol or anything. She just
Or
went
London,
to...
or
yeah, anywhere well known.
Yep. So
Okay.
she spoke of her mother's teeth as artificially blackened, so by chewing betel nut, which I have seen stuff like this before.
Yeah.
But her face and arms were painted, and she wore a jewel in her nose, and a gold chain from it was attached to her left temple. Her father had 3 more wives, and he was usually borne upon the shoulders of makratus, common men, in a palanquin.
So kind of like one of those things that people carry like royalty in. Is that what it is?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's like a fancy little hut thing that people carry. Okay.
Okay, so Caraboo described the dress she wore at home. 7 peacock's feathers adorned the right side of her cap or turban. Upon being furnished with calico, she made herself a dress in the style she had been accustomed to. It was short in the skirt, the sleeves wide and long enough to reach to the ground. A broad embroidered band passed around her waist, and the fringe of the skirt of the sleeves and the bosom was embroidered. She wore no stockings and was furnished with sandals of Roman fashion. She sometimes twisted her hair and rolled it up at the top of her head and fastened it with a skewer. I mean, that's how I go to bed.
With the chopstick in your hair?
No, a skewer.
A skewer, okay.
Yep. Wrought iron skewer.
Oh, not a dagger?
No.
Oh.
I'd stab Mr. Kendra if it was a dagger. Are you kidding me? Come on. Okay, so for 10 weeks, Princess Caraboo danced exotically for the magistrate's friends, used a bow and arrow, fenced, prayed to her god whom she named Allah Tala, and even swam naked when she was on her own, which is scandalous in England.
Oh yeah, I guess, yeah.
Scandalous. Can't even show your ankles.
Mm-mm. She has a short skirt. How dare she?
I know, short skirt. How dare she? What a hussy.
Oh,
okay,
no.
So having become something of a celebrity, she acquired exotic clothing, had her portrait painted, and even had a ball in Bath held in her honor. Her authenticity was attested to by a Dr. Wilkinson, who identified her language using Edmund Fry's Pantographia, and stated that marks on the back of her head were the work of Oriental surgeons.
Ooh, brain surgery.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know what 1817 brain surgery looks like. I have no clue.
I don't think I want to know. There is, though, I forget which country or region it's from, but there's like evidence of successful brain surgery done like way before, I think, even like the birth of Christ. But there's like gold, I think, that they like replaced the skull with.
Egypt?
I don't remember. Maybe?
I'd put money on Egypt. I'd put a small percentage on Egypt.
A small percentage.
I do know, like...
one bad...
I do know, like, the first surgeries ever. This is pretty gruesome. But, like, cavemen or whatever if one had a headache or something in their head, they would just be like, "We're just gonna bash in a hole a little bit in your skull, and then it's just gonna
Yeah.
let some of the whatever
Release
out."
the
Yep.
yeah. Okay, yeah, so there's trepanation, I think, dates back to 7,000 to 10,000 years ago. And it says it's perhaps the oldest surgical procedure, from which at least there's evidence for it. And apparently there's evidence in forms of cave paintings and human remains.
Bashing in skulls with a little sharp rock. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Neolithic period.
If I was back then, I would never say I had a headache.
No,
Never.
never.
It's the last headache you're gonna have.
Yep. One way or the other, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. Okay, so it says apparently there's also evidence of trepanation being performed on a cow in France between like 340 to 3000 BC, or sorry, 3400 to 3000 BCE, and it was performed while it was alive, but the cow didn't survive.
Of
So,
course not. That was
yeah.
3,000 years ago. The cow's dead.
Well, thank you. Okay, continue on.
Okay, so by all accounts, Princess Caraboo was having a wonderful time.
Mhm.
She got a painting done, like a portrait.
That's like
Do you
that's a
know
privilege
how
back then.
like huge of a privilege that was?
Mhm.
Huge.
Even, like, back in Edwardian times, like, photos, you didn't get those a lot. You saved up a pretty penny to get those.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So yeah, she's living high on the hog for free. That is until June of 1817, when the landlady of a boarding house in Bristol named Mrs. Neely opened her newspaper and read about Princess Caraboo.
Oh,
She
no.
recognized the description of the woman in the newspaper report. She had provided her with lodgings some 6 months ago,
Oh,
around
no.
the time where where Caraboo was supposedly in the hold of a pirate ship.
Oh, no.
Okay, so when confronted by her landlady, Mrs. or not Miss, I keep wanting to say Mrs.
Mrs. Caraboo.
Caraboo. So Princess Caraboo had no trouble speaking English. Her ruse, which had gone on for 3 months, was over. It transpired that the self-styled princess was really Mary Wilcox, or Mary Baker,
Okay.
who came from Witheridge in Devon. She was no princess, but the daughter of a cobbler. Apparently, she had adopted the disguise in the hope that it would make her more interesting.
I mean, it
It
kinda did for a
did.
bit. Yeah.
It did it worked really well.
For a few months, yeah.
She got a portrait out of it and a free ball. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so the Portuguese sailor had been her accomplice as well.
Oh.
Mhm. So by now, Mr. Worrell had also received word from the academics about Oxford about
Okay.
Caribou's native script, which he had earlier asked to write down, and then he sent it off to Oxford. Which is
Uh-huh.
the oldest university in the world and one of the most prestigious, right?
Mhm.
So, when Oxford scholars examined Caribou's written script, they deemed it humbug language.
No. Yeah.
I want that as a review for our podcast is
Humbug.
humbug language.
Humbug language.
Humbug language. The
Love
Foolish
it.
Wanderers podcast is
Humbug.
humbug language. 5 stars.
That's right. That's the best insult ever. Still give it 5 stars.
5 stars. Okay. Also, people at Oxford pointed out that there was no island called Javasu.
Unsurprisingly, yes. It sounds like a Star Wars planet.
It does.
It's like so close to Jakku.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Jakku.
It might as well be that. Yeah.
Yep.
But surprisingly, the villagers did not turn on the unmasked princess. Instead, they helped pay for the woman to sail to Philadelphia, USA.
That's expensive too, isn't it?
I know, but she wanted to go to America. That was like her dream, and
Oh, okay.
they like all pitched in and sent her on her way. So the Americans were excited to meet Mary Wilcox, or Mary Baker, who told tales of her adventures.
Of course she did.
Yeah. They all wanted to meet Mrs. No, I keep wanting to say Mrs. Caraboo. My
Yeah,
God,
but
Princess
she's the
Caraboo.
heiress to the coffee line.
She's the heiress of the coffee empire.
Yes.
Okay, so this part was kind of funny, I thought. So on the 13th of September, 1817, a letter was printed in the Bristol Journal, allegedly from Sir Hudson Lowe, the official in charge of the exiled Emperor Napoleon on St. Helena. It claimed that after the Philadelphia-bound ship bearing the beautiful Caraboo had been driven close to the island by a tempest, so storm, the intrepid princess impulsively cut herself adrift in the small boat, rowed ashore, and so fascinated the emperor that he was applying to the pope for a dispensation to marry her.
She's just like full of lies, full of tales, isn't she?
She's full of some other stuff too.
Yeah.
But that story is unverified.
Okay.
Yep. So, Mary Wilcox stayed in America for 7 years before returning to England. She made one last appearance as Princess Caraboo in a London gallery where she charged visitors a shilling to see her. The fake princess then returned to Bristol and married a Robert Baker, 10 years her senior.
Ooh. Scandalous.
Scandalous. And she set up a business in Bedminster as an importer and seller of leeches. Then, remember, then it was like an important medical commodity.
Yeah.
Now just fishing.
Don't they still? I think they still do use leeches sometimes to help with blood clotting.
Sometimes, but I don't want
Not
to be
this
the
extent.
poor sucker that, no pun intended,
I was gonna say
the leeches are thrust upon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one of her clients was the Bristol Infirmary. So she was doing well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bristol Infirmary selling leeches to the infirmary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good customer.
Yeah.
So their daughter Mary Ann was born around 1829. So when Mary Baker or Mary Wilcox died in 1864 at the age of 75, she was buried in an unmarked grave in Hebron Churchyard, Southville. Her daughter Mary Ann carried on the business of selling leeches.
That's interesting that it was an unmarked grave, because you think if someone like that had a successful business, like she'd have a marker.
Maybe the leeches business dried up. Again, no pun intended.
Or they just got mad at her. They're like, "You sold our ancestors. We take away your nameplate." They just hobbled in there and lifted
the
it up.
leeches? Oh,
yeah, the leeches did.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, so Princess Caraboo ended up selling leeches and got buried in an unmarked grave. But she got a portrait out of it in a bowl.
She did.
And maybe that's all that she wanted.
I mean, I'm sure she wanted more, as she got older, but she had a good run.
She had an interesting run.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
I can't imagine like selling leeches would be like too like. I think you can make a pretty good living off that, right?
Catch them.
I don't want to know.
I think there's like a creepy. I don't want to. Let's not look this up. Let's just guess. I don't want to see. I don't like anything to do with leeches. I don't like anything to do with eels. I've seen those nasty giant eels things before on Reddit that are like, they look like sturgeon. They are that big. Oh, and they're in like the shallow parts of the river. It's disgusting and scary. Don't want to know how you catch leeches. I'm gonna assume some sort of corpse in a cage that you put in the bottom of a river, and then you scoop it up and hope there's a bunch of leeches on it, and then you pick them off and then put them into like cute little like goldfish bags or something like at Walmart. I don't know.
There's those tanks lining the walls with leeches. Aren't they? They like run like they have like on their like run like a pair of legs, but like
what?
I'm pretty sure
I've never seen them with little legs.
No, they don't have legs, but it's like they're acting like legs. So it's like their head and like their butt part. They like stand up in like a horseshoe shape, and they walk on both ends.
What in the? I don't know.
Isn't that how leeches like move around on land? I think so.
I don't know. Do they? They don't move around on land.
Let me look it up.
You're making it sound like it's a little inchworm or something that they're going like. I don't like it.
Yeah, I looked up how to catch them, and you're basically correct. You basically put meat in a pan or in a cage and toss it in the wherever, and like pull them out.
I don't like that. That's nasty.
I'm gonna look up leeches running because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, moving on land.
Leeches running. What in the?
So moving on land. On land, leeches move by controlling their muscles, both by widening and narrowing them. They
Well,
get around their surroundings.
I mean, not to interrupt you,
Yes.
but I move on land by controlling my muscles too.
Okay, good.
Sorry, I had to interrupt you. That was funny.
I'm glad you're not just a lump on a log. So this says both by they get around their surroundings by placing their frontal suckers onto surfaces and then by tugging their bodies in the direction they want to go. Okay, so I guess it is like an inchworm. For some reason, I thought it was like
They had
on
little
like
legs and they were just like, here I go, I'm gonna do my little.
not like legs, but I thought they like walked on like both ends of their body, like a horseshoe shape.
Okay.
What am I thinking of?
I don't know. I don't want to know. It sounds creepy.
I wanna.
Yeah, I'm not a leeches person. It's just freaky, like how like you kill them. You know, it's like put a lighter to them, or it's the salt a leech to get it off,
Uh-huh.
or the matchstick or the lighter thing. Yeah, like just nasty.
Yeah, they're pretty gross.
I haven't had them since maybe I was like a teenager, maybe like 1 or 2. I remember I went into the lake and like the weedy part, like muddy weedy part once, and I came out and I had a few on my toes and my ankles.
No thanks. No, 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 no. Yeah, that's I can't walk into like places where there's leeches. Like I just not here for it. So you're not gonna find me
Feel them
purposefully
like
there.
you can like feel them like yeah, no, like sucking, and then like when you're a kid you're like, I'm just gonna take my little fingers and like pull them off and stuff, and that hurts because they got the little like fang things in there because they like curl in there. Yeah, then it's like, get the salt.
Yep, get the salt.
That's why you get those matchbooks at casinos.
You just burn them off.
My designated leech matchbooks.
I was right. Okay, I'm gonna watch this, and I'm pretty sure this is.
There's like a different breed of leech. What is this?
This is in Japan, so maybe it's a Japanese leech.
It's a Japanese leech, and it runs.
I'm gonna watch this video. Hold on. Just a speed divot. Come back here! I dare you. I'm gonna suck your blood. Okay, yes, I'm pretty much correct. So it's kind of like an inchworm, but they just walk on their 2 ends. I'll put the link if you guys want to watch this video.
Their heads up, like they're walking like a person.
No, it's so if you put a worm on its head and on its butt and walk it like a horseshoe, it's like that.
Walk it like a horseshoe. What? Is that a rap song? Yes. Walk it like a horseshoe.
Walk it like a horseshoe. I'll send it to you. And I'll put a link in the description, Wanderers, if you guys want to check out this video. But this is, yeah, they kind of they walk on both ends. Kind of like a horseshoe.
Walk it like a horseshoe.
It's our new rap song coming out in 2020 never.
Just thinks 2020 never. When you sounded like a teenager.
Oh, thank you.
That sounds like I'm trying to be like a snotty teenager. You know, their mom's like, clean up your room. You're like, okay, mom, I'm gonna do it. 2020 never.
Yeah.
2020 never. Leech, ew. Yeah, it does. Okay, I guess that is the best way to describe how it's walking is walk it like a horseshoe. Okay, I get it.
It's gonna be a t-shirt. I'm gonna make a leech t-shirt. Yeah. Okay,
sources for this interesting episode were the History Press UK, allthat'sinteresting.com, and Wikipedia and Wikisource.
I just scrolled down to look at the photos that you have. She doesn't even look like Asian at all.
No, she's whiter than white. So I know. I said she was like a Rachel Dolezal, or who else just got caught doing that?
Wait, what?
Or that George Soros guy. Like,
I don't know who these people are.
You gotta get off of TikTok. Actually, maybe you don't want to know.
Where are you looking?
This is like the news. Like that Rachel Dolezal chick was doing like blackface and pretending she was black.
Oh, I think I have seen something like that, yeah.
And then the George Soros guy is unfortunate. Is it George Soros? No, it's not George Soros. I messed up his name.
Oh no, he's offended. How dare.
Mother hell. George Soros is not pretending to be. Okay, George Soros is a Hungarian American businessman.
Oh.
He's very wealthy. He is not the guy I'm
Okay.
thinking of. It is what in the Santos.
George
Sorry.
Santos?
It is George Santos, who's a current US
Oh,
representative
yeah.
from New York.
I just scrolled down to like look at the photos that you have. She doesn't even look like Asian at all.
No, she's like
She looks white.
she's whiter than white. I know. I said
So
she was like a Rachel Dolezal, or who else just got caught doing that?
wait, what?
Or that George Soros guy. Like,
I don't know who these people are.
you gotta get off of TikTok. Actually, maybe you don't want to know.
Where are you looking?
This is like the news. Like that Rachel Dolezal chick was doing like blackface and pretending she was black.
Oh, I think I have seen something like
And then
that.
the George Soros guy is unfortunate. Is it George Soros? No, it's not George Soros. I messed up his name.
Oh no, he's offended. How dare.
Mother hell. George Soros is not pretending to be. Okay, George Soros is a Hungarian American businessman. He's very wealthy.
Oh.
He is not the guy I'm thinking of. It
Okay.
is what in the Santos. Sorry.
George Santos?
It is George Santos, who's a current US representative from
Oh,
New York,
yeah.
and he has like lied about his entire life. He said like his mom or something like survived the Holocaust and that she
How
was
young is he?
Jewish. And then like he's like, "Oh, I didn't mean that she's Jewish. I mean that she's like Jew-ish."
What?
And like he's like lied that he went to some schools and like all this other stuff. It is insane. You can't keep up with him. It is like the lies upon lies upon lies. It's founded out like he's in the Republican Party. It's found out that he used to be a drag queen.
Oh my goodness. I guess I
Like,
did hear about this, but just like the part where he pretended to go to all these schools and now they're like, no,
yeah.
we don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
goodness.
So yeah, it is George Santos. LOL, it is not George Soros.
Oh goodness. It's close, but yeah, no.
But it's not at all.
Completely
It's
different.
not. Yeah, completely different. Sorry to that man. Sorry to George Soros. Do not come
Sorry.
for me. I know you're a billionaire.
Oh goodness.
If
Our
I
little
end up in
podcast could
one of those in a weather balloon flying over
oh
China,
goodness.
please somebody come get me
Before they shoot it down.
before they shoot it down.
All right, Wanderers, thank you so much for listening. We hope you guys enjoyed this awesome episode. If you have any suggestions for any future episodes, please feel free to email us at fwplisteners@gmail.com.
And I'm not using a script today, unlike the
Yeah.
NFL.
Oh no.
That's a joke.
Oh, okay.
That's a current meme. But anyways, oh my gosh, I forgot it. No, I got it.
Challenge yourself.
And as always, new episodes of the FWP are released weekly from wherever you get your podcast from. And if you'd like to help support us, the best way obviously is to listen, which you are right now, so thank you. But if you'd like to help us a little bit more, we'd really appreciate it if you would consider leaving us a 5-star review.
Yes. All right, Wanderers, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you guys next time.